Hi everyone, William Sauber here, host of Catholic Table Talk podcast, second podcast, part 2, Hitler's Pope. Hope you enjoyed the first one. Hopefully I do a little bit better talking in the second one. But yeah, thanks for putting up with me. So let's keep rolling. I'm going to give you kind of some short facts. On the second one, I'm going to try and keep this podcast on time. So, second claim, Hitler's Pope first one was an agreement. Hitler and then Nazis didn't want anything to do with it. And now we go to Pope Pius XII, silence. Pope Pius what said in 1931, no one can be at the same time a Catholic and a true socialist. I don't know about you, but I really like that quote. And then the Nazi Party and Hitler himself called Pope Pius XII at the time of his death the sworn enemy of the Nazi Party. So, wow. Several detectives by the Holy See, Pope Pius XI, and Cardinal Pacelli on Vatican Radio, they talked about anti-Semitic and racism, and German bishops were consulted and asked for a formal document against the National Socialist Party. So Pope Pius the 11th and Pope Pius the 12th, before he was Pope, really started talking about the Nazi Party. And now we get to the Encyclopedia, which is a book. Pope Pius the 11th and Cardinal Pacelli, which Pope Pius the 12th, before he became Pope, and Archbishop, drafted the document. But Pacelli's, his point of view was much more harsh than the other statements contained in that document, in that book, encyclopedia, whatever you want to call it. So he really had a lot of bad things about the Nazi Party. And get this, Pope Pius XII on Palm Sunday, March 14th, 1937. He written in German, he smuggled this encyclopedia, this book out of Italy, copied it, and distributed it in Germany, so everyone, mostly in German, could see it. And it says, this is from Newsweek, okay? Newsweek. On Palm Sunday, priests read the 21 million German Catholics encyclopedia, which had been smuggled across the border. It charged the Nazis with the violation of the 1933 agreement with the Vatican. The civil officials were trying to undermine the Catholic religion. It condemned the ideology of race, blood, and soil as articles of faith. So Newsweek even came out with it and said, wow, it charged Nazis with them not living up to the agreement with the agreement. The encyclopedia was used as a part of a leaflet campaign against Germany, which a leaflet campaign is, they send an airplane across the country, they drop little leaflets of paper on it, and a lot of people can see them, and it's not good for the Germans. Even the Chicago Daily Tribune said, Pope strikes at Nazi rule. So anyone who says, oh, Pope Pius, he was silent, he was silent during that. Oh yeah, well, Chicago Tribune said that he took a shot. The Nazis themselves said that he was taking shots at him. And this is important. Why he was silent? In 1942, a Catholic archbishop protested against the Jewish persecutions in Holland. by issuing a letter. Immediately, the Nazis rounded up as many Jews and Catholics as possible and deported them, including Blessed Esther Stein, to the death camps. Pope Pius XII knew that any direct confrontation would be met by brutal responses. So he couldn't really attack the Nazi Party head on with saying that the Nazi Party was bad. He just took shots at them without calling them out, calling them by name. So if he spoke out, he'd be condemned for putting people's lives in danger. If the Pope didn't speak out, he'd be condemned for being silent and not speaking up, which he is today. Now, let's just jump ahead real quick. Hitler tried to assassinate Pope Pius XII. Hitler planned to assassinate the Pope along with other Vatican cardinals. The plan was to be executed in January 1944. The reason was just to, get rid of him. It was codenamed Rabat Fawn. In December 1943, Hitler personally chose Himmler and Müller, the head of the Gestapo, to study and execute a plan that would eliminate the Pope. Thing is, that didn't happen. Just never really got going. So yeah, that's I'll probably give something about it in comments, but I don't really have time to go over it right now. But point is, Hitler tried to assassinate the Pope, but didn't. And also, but I'll just give you a rundown of what they were trying to do. The German division dressed in Italian uniforms were launched an attack at night against the Vatican City, appearing as bystanders, determined to eliminate the Pope. Then they would massacre the clergy. New troops of the Panzer Division and parachutists would intervene to kill the troops, leaving no witnesses. Brutal. And if the Pope survived, he would be deported to Germany under the pretext of protecting them. So there you have it. But yeah, so let's not get much into it, but they were trying to get him. Also, Pope Pius XII had a radio masterpiece, they say, radio announcement on Christmas 1942. This is from Commander Hedgen. Can't really pronounce his name. The German, though. And get this. He said, "It is true, the Pope does not refer to the National Socialists in Germany by name, but his speech is one long attack on everything we stand for. God, he says, regards our people and races are worthy of the same consideration. He is clearly speaking on behalf of the Jews." That is the German guy saying about what Pope Pius said on Christmas 1942. So, not really taking shots at the party by name, but taking shots without naming them, but everything that they stood up for, and speaking on behalf of the Jews. So, Pope Pius and the Jews, Pope Pius not only protested, but also actively worked to save the lives of thousands of Jews. Several thousands of Jews were hidden in Catholic networks and homes as well as the Vatican and the Pope's summer residence. Hugh O'Flaherty opened networks to help Jews and allies escape to safety. He is credited with saving more than 6,500 people. A Jewish uh, theologian estimated that Pope Pius XII saved somewhere between 700 and 860,000 Jewish lives, more than the lives saved by all three of the allies combined. So once again, Pope Pius kind of working, under, helping secretly Jews escape Germany and helping them out. And the Vatican remained neutral, just as in World War I, the Church remained neutral for several reasons. First, it gave its voice the more integrity needed when it spoke out against Nazis. Second, it allowed the Church to be at least function within Axis territory. Third, it allowed the Church to conduct humanitarian efforts. And fourth, it protected the Jews against mostly everyone who hated them. Any wars of Pope Pius XII directed against a madman like Hitler would have brought even a worse catastrophe, and most likely the massacre of more Jews and priests. That is from Three Popes and the Jews, page 247. So that's again left-hand charts what really happened. And also, the Jewish chief rabbi of Rome became a Catholic and adopting his baptismal name Angelo Peselli in honor of Pope Pius XII. So, wow, a lot of information there. But that's, like I said, that's the two main claims. Agreement, he signed with the Nazis, and he was silent during the war. Now, I'll give you some questions, and people might ask you, and how can you answer these? Question 1. Catholics who voted for the Nazi Party came into power, didn't they? Why did they? And then you say, well, you gotta remember, man, it was 1932. 1932, Nazis were elected by the greatest share of the popular vote, but not the majority of the popular vote. Okay? Also, they weren't really happy with the Treaty of World War I still. The 1932 was a mess with a Great Depression, 30% unemployment, and the Nazi Party promised prosperity and kind of rebuild of Germany. So it's kind of like a politician saying, if you vote for me, I'm going to do this, this, and this. You vote him in, what happens? Doesn't do it. I think we can all know a politician or two in our own state, local, regional, state, or national, who says they're going to do something and they don't do it. Okay. The Vatican signed an agreement with Nazi Germany. Doesn't this mean that they maintain friendly relations? Yeah. Agreements back then were fairly common. The Vatican had more agreements with several other countries. I think I mentioned them in the first episode. The agreement was signed and was made before the Nazis came into power, which, like I said, back then they thought, the Nazi Party, not too bad, really, Hitler and the Nazis, when they came into power, had no plan by abiding by it. And the agreement proved to be an embarrassment to the Nazi Party because it gave the Vatican more high ground when the Nazis began to violate it. Which again, neutral, they got no ground to gain or lose. Objection 3. Why didn't the Pope take action to get rid of Hitler? Because you can say after, if you say, well, Hitler tried to get rid of him, the Pope in the 1940s worked as an intermediate between between anti-Nazi elements in the German military and the Allies to break a deal. So everyone who's in the German military who didn't really like Nazi was okay, they didn't really agree with Hitler. He was talking to him, trying to make a deal. But if Hitler was on the throne, would the Allies agree to peace terms and allow a new government to be installed? I don't think so. Because we gotta remember history here. Stalin was very, very mad because Hitler turned against him, so he was out for revenge. Even if Hitler was overthrown, I'm sure Stalin might have still win, when I agreed to it. And the Allies, that's the Allies. Stalin's part of the Allies, so there you have it, most likely not. And this would have been a violation of neutral. So they couldn't really do it because they gotta be neutral. Because otherwise a lot of people might be after them, or even today probably a lot of people would be after them for that. And they had to be neutral. They at least they respected the war. So, okay, another question. Why didn't Catholics stand up and protest during the war? Well, they did. First, there's a couple of things here. It's a little short on time, but so they did. A few people did. Bishops and priests did. They did, but the response was an increase in violence. So the more they talked, the more Jews and people were persecuted, killed, whatever. Parishioners of priests who gave an anti-Nazi homily would be kidnapped and killed. There you go. And one bishop remembers that a bishop, one bishop delivered a series of homilies against anti-Nazism, and his successor recounts, after preached these sermons, the bishop was prepared to be arrested by the Gestapo. So he's like, God bless him for that, because that is great. He stood in it no matter what. But he wasn't really arrested. The bishop was particularly ejected when, in his place, 24 secular priests and 13 members of the regular clergy were deported into concentration camps, and 10 of them lost their lives. They were killed or just died or whatever. So the bishop wasn't killed, but 10 of the 24 people who took his place did. And they didn't take his place, the Gestapo went and got him. Yeah, try to be this quick here. Also, protesters did protest. The White Rose, for example, was a group. Hans and Sophie Scroll, brother and sister. This group was genuinely high-minded, recklessly daring, because protesting in Nazi Germany back then was, of course, daring, and profoundly Catholic. Urged people to offer resistance to foretold war machine before it was too late. Group distributed pamphlets throughout Germany, traveling at night, carrying suitcases full of pamphlets, mailed them in a way that couldn't be traced, etc. And they opened a batch of the White Rose in Hamburg, and White Rose including Protestants as well. So not just Catholics, Protestants as well. This was in They were college students in the University of Munich in 1942. Although Hans and Sophie were betrayed by a janitor, and then the Gestapo arresting 150 White Wars members. So, like I said, it was a group. It was a group of people who didn't like the Nazi Party, and the leaders were tortured and given a mock trial and beheaded by the guillotine. 19 members were killed and dozens imprisoned until the end of the war. So the same thing. At least they got away with it for a little bit. Smart by them, and God bless them too for staying up for the faith and saying no to Nazism, if that's a word. But yeah, so I did do protest though. Alright, and finishing up here, Pope Pius XII was silent in regards to the Nazi Party. No, we just went over this. This episode is silent, not being silent. Pope Pius XII spoke out against the Nazis by attacking them indirect, not naming them by name, but attacking their beliefs and actions. The Allies and the Western press certainly consider Pope Pius XII to be on their side, and the German intelligence and Adolf Hitler himself said that Pope Pius XII to be an anti-Nazi and an enemy of the Nazi Party. So, if the Nazis didn't believe Pius was silent, who are we to say otherwise, right? Crazy. Pope Pius XII and several bishops were anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic. End of statement. Terrible. No. Pope Pius XII is credited with saving the lives of upwards of, remember, like 860,000 Jews. During and after the war, Pope Pius XII received praises from major Jewish leaders around the world, thanking him for defending them. And then the chief rabbi converted to Catholicism after the war, taking the name Eugenio Pacelli in honor of Pope Pius XII's name. So they weren't anti-Jew, they weren't anti-Semitic. He wasn't in the statement there. And I might leave you with a little bit of guessing. The real story about Pope Pius XII was uncovered by history research immediately following the war. Okay, so where does Pope Pius, Hitler's Pope myth, come from? It doesn't come from Nazis, and it doesn't come from Germany, because they said that he was an enemy, right? Basically almost from the beginning. So it did not come from there. It came from Russia and Stalin. It was a project of misinformation campaign started by the Soviet intelligence. Response to the Vatican Catholic unity behind the Iron Curtain and the WD, which replays, I think I said it in the first episode too, the WD was just was a stage play in the 1960s. It actually got filmed now in 2002. It's just not good. Don't watch it, because it's, yeah, that's where the Hitler's Pope myth comes from. This ties to communist propaganda, a commercial failure that spread even to Broadway. Because let's face it, let's say it failed mostly. Not a whole lot of people really watched it. Why would you? Nazis said that he was not an allies with the Nazi Party. And then 1979, kind of fast forward, Pope St. John Paul II was elected, Polish labor unions, and John Cornwell's Hitler's Pope came out then. So all Russian propaganda, Hitler's Pope, not a fact, fiction. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, thanks for putting up with me. Tell your friends, family about Catholic Table Talk. If you have any show requests you want me to do, I have received a couple. So thanks for everyone who reached out to me. Drop them in the comments below. Any questions too, drop them in the comments below on Facebook and YouTube. And hopefully get a mic soon. Hopefully get more followers soon. But until then, hope to see you again next week, right here, Catholic Table Talk. Everything Catholic is on the table.